Welcome to the Manhattan Project. This is day 16. So earlier tonight, Evan and I both went out to the historic Angelika Film Center in Manhattan. We saw two different movies. I saw The Only Living Boy in New York. If you want to know what movie he saw and hear his opinion on it, check out the review from yesterday, day 15. But here's some vlog footage of us at the theater. I didn't get to vlog the theater before seeing the movie, but I am at the Angelika Film Center, the historic one in Manhattan, which is a really cool theater. It has like a whole cafe.
Look at that big apple pie, the big apple crumble.
In the front half, and then there's like a movie theater downstairs. Tons of classic indie movies played here first. This is where Kevin Smith saw Slacker for the first time and therefore decided to make his own movie, Clerks. So a lot of history at this theater. I've been here before, but it's a really dope place. If you're ever in New York and you're a movie fan, this is a must for you to check out, the Angelika Film Center.
Hey John, what are you up to?
I feel like I'm the only living boy in New York seeing this movie.
Okay, so The Only Living Boy in New York is the new feature film from Mark Webb. It's kind of a return to his roots as a filmmaker. You know, Mark Webb started as the director of 50 Days of Summer. No, that's not the name of it. 100 Days of Summer? 400 Days of Summer. 300. 500 Days of Summer. Zooey Deschanel and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Everyone knows that movie. It's a delight, right? Then he went on to direct The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Everyone hated the second one. I actually kind of liked it. A lot of people liked the first one. I kind of hated it. That's for another day. And then that whole shit fell apart. Spider-Man got rebooted, and now he is back to the more grounded, romantic dramedy genre here with The Only Living Boy in New York. It stars Callum something or other. It's this young actor who's barely been in anything as a kid who gets wrapped up in a secret potential affair when he discovers his father, played by Pierce Brosnan, having an affair of his own with a woman played by the name of Kate Beckinsale. Drama ensues. Jeff Bridges shows up. It's very New York. Take a look at the trailer.
Well, I'm crazy about you.
I'm crazy about you,
But don't say as friends.
why? Why is that so bad?
What you need to do, just make her afraid of something more than being with you.
Which is,
Not being with you.
how am I supposed to do that?
Let life take over, find a window and pounce.
It's my father doing it.
Who's he with?
I don't know. It's about my mother.
Ask me about my expectations.
So John, what were your expectations going into this film?
So I like 500 Days of Summer. I haven't seen it in years, but I do remember thinking it's very good. And while I knew this film had bad reviews, I knew it was rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't know why people didn't like it. However, since I'm actually an Amazing Spider-Man 2 apologist, I was hoping, being a little optimistic, that maybe I would find something in this that the rest of the critics weren't seeing. Perhaps I'd like it. However, realistically, I wasn't expecting it to be too great because it's a movie with all these big actors and it's Mark Webb, the dude that directed these giant studio pictures, and somehow it's only playing in a couple theaters in New York right now. It doesn't have any Oscar buzz. So strap in, boys and girls, because we got a fucking doozy to talk about. Oh, it's been a minute since I've seen a movie like this. It has been a minute. I cannot believe what I sat through. It is all-you-can-eat buffet of fucking garbage. Oh, I loved it. I loved watching it. So, The Only Living Boy in New York is one of those movies that if you didn't see the credits, you would fucking be able to bet your left nut it was directed by a man. Like, guaranteed. You'd bet your life on that shit. There is no risk. Because when I talk about movies that hate women, movies that are so self-absorbed, autobiographical in a way that makes you just think, wow, I not only hate the characters in this film, but I hate the filmmaker that made it now, because it feels like he's trying to make us connect to these characters. And if you find any humanity in them, you're goddamn evil. And it sounds like I'm being a little overreactive to this, but boy, trust me, is this movie hot garbage. And I didn't even get into the twist yet, but we'll save that. Let's just start at the beginning. Let's start, right? So the protagonist's name is Thomas Webb, W-E-B-B. Is that a coincidence that the writer-director's name is Mark Webb, W-E-B-B? I don't know. Wait a second, John, I gotta stop you right there. You say that the movie was written by Mark Webb. No, it was just directed by him. It, in fact, was written by a guy named Allan Loeb. But still, your review was great, and all your points still make sense. They're just now about two different guys, instead of just Mark Webb being bad writer-director. Maybe he's playing with your expectation. Maybe he wants you to think that it's him, but maybe it's not. Either way, I could give two shits what he wants you to think, because let me tell you what I did think while watching this. So, it's the kind of movie where every female character is treated in a way where they're not just a human being, but they're defined by the way that they affect the men around them. And in often negative ways, right? They're temptresses. They're closed off. They need to be, they're prizes, right? They need to be earned. They're weak or damaged. Cynthia Nixon comes in this movie and is way too good for it, actually giving a pretty good performance. And the only thing we ever hear about her until the last 10 minutes of the movie is that she's fragile. She's going to break. She's going to have another incident. She might kill herself. And that doesn't even begin to talk about Kate Beckinsale, right? So I told you this movie is about Mark Webb's, this kid named Thomas Webb, having an affair when he discovers that his father, Pierce Brosnan, is having an affair with a woman. So it's the same woman. I don't know if I made that clear. That woman is Kate Beckinsale, so an older woman. Because why would you have a normal-looking woman in this film that takes place in New York City about a schlubby 22-year-old kid having sex with a woman that's older than him? Anyway, so the way it happens, the way that she sort of seduces this character, although she seduces him, and then yet the movie starts to try to have it both ways, where she's emotionally damaged or whatever. She has conflict with trying to reconcile the situation and tries to then eventually move on with her relationship with the kid's dad, is such an unrealistic male fantasy bullshit way of how a woman would approach a man ever, let alone this man and this woman in this situation, that you just gotta laugh. It's like, who thought this was a good idea? What are you trying to do here, Mark Webb? But at any rate, you got a movie where it's about a kid who doesn't really know what he wants to do in life. He sort of secretly wants to be a writer. His dad is very, very wealthy, owns a publishing company, and the movie makes a big point in the beginning to talk about not only how adults have a contempt for the way New York has lost its soul and its culture, but also how this kid feels pressured to not sort of focus on his arts and pursue that because his family, his dad, just wants him to get a job and settle down. Because, it's one of those classic movies where you're following a character who wants to be an artist, and these shrills, right? These frigid non-artists, god damn them with their, stacks of money and their corporate selloutness. They hate art. They hate the fact that you have to live in a Bushwick apartment or wherever, if you want to be an artist. It's just this weird sort of artistic elitism we've seen in other movies like this, where the filmmaker is just trying to say, if you didn't go into art, you must be an asshole. And so he has his non-artistic characters shit on art so that they seem like the bad guys. But it's like, you can see what he's getting at. But I think the biggest problem overall is that our protagonist, our hero here, starts like Mark Zuckerberg, where he's just being completely self-absorbed, talking about this woman named Mimi, who's an NYU student that he hooked up with once but has a boyfriend. And the opening scene is him making a truly disgusting, selfish remark and reaction to her talking about how she might have a big career move by being able to get into a program and travel to Croatia. That's the opening of the film. So when this kid acts like a petulant child and responds only thinking of himself, you expect him to get his comeuppance and learn from that mistake. And I'd be hard-pressed to tell you what experiences he had in this movie that actually do make him learn from that mistake. And even if you are to say that he does, the fact that we have a character that starts this low, I find to be really frustrating and hard to watch. Because I think the movie thinks he's not as bad as he is. But even if the movie does think he's as bad as he is, when you watch a movie like this, characters are supposed to have arcs. Every character in any great movie, the protagonist has flaws so that they can get over those flaws and learn their lesson. Absolutely. But you still have to like them in the beginning and understand those flaws. This guy is just the worst, and you just got to sit with him, and it sucks, then it sucks some more, and there's this weird cutting where Jeff Bridges shows up and lives in the same apartment as this kid, and Jeff Bridges keeps making all these weird literary references, and he doesn't speak like a human being, and he's smoking cigars and drinking with the kid and going to grocery stores, and it's like, who the hell are you, Jeff Bridges? are we ever going to reveal who this mystical guy is? And then, you know, the movie keeps chugging, and then you get to the third act, which just has a fucking bomb of a twist ending that not only does it come out of nowhere and hit you like a freight train, but it is so fucking stupid, so ridiculous, so like what it's trying to say about the characters and how it's trying to reconcile the conflicts that have been set up, that it's almost beyond words. It's almost a great movie. Like, I really, really hope that you guys see this film if what I'm saying sounds interesting to you. I'm not going to spoil that twist. If you guys want to talk about it in the comments, if you've seen it, please. But it's not worth it. I don't want Evan to hear it. He's in the room. This shit is wild what they decide to do when they connect all these characters. And sure enough, the send-off of all these people at the end is like, no, the women didn't care. The women didn't matter at all. You don't care about the women. What was the conclusion with the female characters? What were they up to? Give a fuck about that. We want this 22-year-old skinny kid from New York with rich parents that wants to kind of be an artist to succeed and get over his extreme dickishness and continue to just get the girls and be happy and make money and live out his artistic dreams, just like Mark Webb, the director, was allowed to do. Shit's wild, bro. If you haven't noticed, it kind of got me a little heated in a way that was kind of fascinating. Because usually when I see a movie that's this bad, this absolutely atrocious, and then atrocious not in a way where it's poorly made, it looks pretty good. Dialogue is not always awful. The acting even is pretty decent. Definitely better than the film deserves. Usually when I see a movie that's this garbage because of like philosophical reasons, fundamentally what's wrong with this movie, it's all just broken. I'm annoyed, I'm mad, I'm bored, you know, I don't know, I'm just steaming. This, it was just like, it's like a car crash. You cannot look away because you keep wanting to feel like it's going to do something, right? Like, I cannot believe where they're taking these characters. Certainly, there's got to be something we don't know, right? There's got to be a reveal of why people are acting this way and why this kid's able to fuck this woman and why his dad doesn't know about it and why she's doing them both and why, you know, maybe she's actually a real person and not just this evil temptress. And also this movie subscribes to the philosophy of like, oh, if you treat women with disrespect, they'll want you more. Like, anyway, you're looking for stuff like that to be a surprise, and then what you get, like I said, is a twist that actually makes it all even more fascinatingly bad. So I was surprisingly not pissed at this movie. I was actually just fascinated watching it. I was glued, waiting to see what happens. And then, finally, when the time bomb goes off and you see what they have to offer at the end of, holy shit, this is what we were about the whole time, this is what the emotional climax is, that's when I was like, oh, time to go in. So this was a fun one for me to review. I put the gloves on. If you guys saw The Only Living Boy in New York, or The Last Living Boy in New York, whatever the fuck the stupid movie's called, please tell me below what your reaction was. I am so fascinated to hear what other audiences thought. I could not gauge what my audience was thinking. It was kind of a small group. It's also like a Monday night, so whatever. But yeah, and if you haven't seen the movie, dude, you got to see it. I don't care who you are. It's worth a watch. It's a fascinating. Just don't say I didn't tell you so, that this movie's so bad. Anyway, this has been the Manhattan Project. We're setting out to review a new movie every single day, so tune in tomorrow when we actually usually have a metaphor at the end, something, whatever, 0 out of 4 stars. Thanks so much for watching. We review a new movie every day, so we'll be back tomorrow with another movie review, and then the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day, and then the